This is our second part of our 3 weeks trip.
We'll cover Bonico, and then we added Petroglyph, and we'll head down to Emily Provincial Park. Enjoy! We're finally arriving at Bonico Provincial Park for our first time. Although we've never been here before, it feels so familiar with Lac Simon and Mont Tremblant in Quebec. It has the same feel with tall pine trees, a ton of needles on the ground, with lots of bare rocks showing and deep dark lakes. Bonico sits on the Canadian Shield with lots of granite exposures. It's right next to Messina Lake and Messina Rock, which is a First Nation sacred ground. The lake is an actual fault line that is 145 meters deep, the third deepest lake in Ontario excluding the Great Lakes, and on the other side you have the Messina Rock, which means painted rock from the Algonquins, and it has a 100-meter cliff. The water is crystal clear and is warm enough to swim for a short stint in early July. Before or after that, it's frigid cold at 10 to 15 Celsius due to its depth. Bonico in French means good echo, and we tried it while on the tour boat and it was great. Wish I recorded it. The cell coverage while in the park was excellent on Rogers with 2-3 bars 5G. The site itself has been a very popular venue since 1889 and turned very artistic with a steady group of sevens artwork when it was sold to Flora Denison in the early 1900s. After a few fires and hardships, the land was donated to the province in 1959 to form the Provincial Park. There are a lot more stories about Bonico and the area. Look it up if interested. There are also some small hiking trails. We did the 2-kilometer High Pine Trail, which is a nice walk in the forest and is rated moderate due to rocks and hills. We also did the Bonico Creek Trail, 1 kilometer alongside the creek, which was very wet, and you needed rock jumping skills to avoid the water or make sure your shoes were waterproof. Nice views and easy. The park also offers a $15 per person ferry to cross to the Messina Rock, where there's a hiking trail that brings you to the top. Beware, it's an over 100-meter climb of trails and stairs with 3 different lookouts. As an alternative, if you have a canoe, kayak, you can go there yourself to do the trail. Otherwise, you can rent from the park. They have a good quantity, but it was very busy Sunday with a lineup. The trail is well worth it as you see the whole upper and lower Messina lakes. They also have a 45 minutes interpretive boat tour, which is $35 per person to the Messina Rock, where they explain the geology of the fault line and also the pictograms created by the First Nation between 300 and 1,000 years ago. Very humbling to be right next to a 100-meter rock cliff. It was well worth it, and being on the water was nice. Again, if you have your own boat or want to rent one, you can view it all, but you won't get the story to it unless you dig it yourself. Just be aware that winds on the water can be very nasty there. On the other side of the highway, it is more rugged, where we did the 4.8 kilometer Shield Trail, also rated moderate, but that one is a true moderate in our books due to its length and obstacles. Again, it was very wet, but the views were to die for. We also saw a huge beaver dam where the dry side was almost 8-9 feet lower than the waterline. Very impressive. We unfortunately found out too late that we could go biking there, and there is an unpaved road of near 10 kilometers that brings you to other hiking trails and backcountry camping. Looks like we'll need to go back at some point to wrap up that part. Overall, we were very impressed with that park. It's a must-visit park and we'll do so again for sure. On our way to Emily Provincial Park, we decided to visit the Petroglyphs Provincial Park. The park is a day use only, open between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you must be out of the park by 5 p.m. They have a great visitor center explaining what the petroglyphs are and the stories that go with them. It is very informative and well laid out. I wish I was exposed to that culture at a younger age during my early school years. To view the actual petroglyphs, you have to enter a covered building that protects them from the elements. The petroglyphs are First Nation sacred ground and no pictures, videos are allowed, which we absolutely respected. So let me try to describe what we saw. It's a huge 15 by 15 meters white marble slab with cracks in it, and I'd say over 100 carvings with some highlighted with black ash so you can see them better. They were carved between 600 to 1100 years ago, so cool that this is preserved. In the same park, there is McGuinness Lake, a rare meromictic lake with a very cool color. Meromictic means that the lake layers of water don't intermix ever. Emily is a quiet park for us. We used it as a quick stopover, allowing us to get on the Trans-Canada Trail for the Kawartha region. The park is well laid out with access to the Pigeon River. While we were there, the day-use area beach was closed due to eye bacterias, but the campers beach was groomed and open. We were in the circle campground and can easily hear the busy route outside the park, so beware if you're tenting. From Emily, to get on the multi-use Trans-Canada Trail, you need to ride 4 or 5 kilometers south on Emily Park Road. It's a busy road, but we rode on the unpaved part, then headed towards Lindsay. As we got to Lindsay, we definitely felt the town vibe. No longer in a village type of thing, but with a bunch of parks scattered around the city. While in town, we decided to stop for lunch at the Pie-Eyed Monk Brewery. Food and beer were very tasty at a reasonable price. Overall, we've got 54 kilometers done along with a full belly. Next visit, we'll head towards Peterborough. Overall, the 22 days adventure went by very quickly, and Caroline and I are still alive and together. Of course, living with your much better half all the time in a confined place has its challenges, but I think we've managed it pretty good, and it bodes well for our future upcoming 6 weeks trip. More to come next week. I like keeping the suspense up. Our next episode, while we're at home preparing for the big trip,
We'll cover Commonwealth Provincial Park as well as Springbank Park in London. Stay tuned.